Welcome to the What If podcast with Spencer Worth Davis and Ryan Copperwood.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, no, it all stopped.
Got you.
Oh, God, we got fucking shotgunned into it. I'm here. I'm ready. Got him. Got him. Fuck yeah, man.
How are you, buddy?
That's the quickest intro ever. We're in it, guys. Welcome. It's the What If podcast. All up in your earballs.
Hi, friend.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's going on?
The usual.
I feel like
Training to run my balls off.
I feel like we need someone. We need the squad that made Ken Spencer dunk to make Ken Spencer run.
It's going a lot better than dunking, I tell you what.
Fucking A, crowbar.
I think they're correlated, though. I also tell you what.
Dunking and running?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
More leg strength. Less belly.
How many weeks away from your race are you?
What's today? The 13th?
Yeah.
I got about 6 weeks.
Okay.
I ran 8 miles on Sunday.
Nonstop?
Yep.
Didn't jog, didn't walk?
Well, I mean, I'm
jog.
not exactly running fast.
Yeah.
But at the pace that I plan to run the race at.
And you're doing a full 14 or 12 or 13.3?
You're close.
What's 20 oh no, 26.2, 13.1.
Nailed it.
There we go. I did think it was 26.6, by the way. I'm not that bad at dividing 26.2. I thought it was 26.6 to start, and then I was like, no, that's not right.
So I'm getting close. I'm not ever going to actually run the 13 before I run the 13.
Are you not?
No.
Are you not supposed to? Why not?
No, there's no point. You're just going to tire yourself out.
I don't know about all that.
Nah.
Really?
Yeah, as long as I do a 12 like the week before.
Okay.
11 or 12, I don't remember.
I mean,
I got to run.
Once it's 12, what's 13? Am I right?
I got to run 10 the weekend of your bachelor party, by the way. That's going to be interesting.
I don't know when that's going to happen.
Just be drunk the whole time. It's not going to be. It's more effective if you don't run straight because you cover more distance.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So if I'm just weaving the whole time,
your
it's not going to take me that long.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Total distance covered. It's not like straight line distance, you know.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to be on a golf course in northern Minnesota playing like a drunken 18, and you're just going to have to run the 18 holes twice. You'll meet us at the last hole and be like, oh, he's back again. How'd it go?
Every 5 minutes, you're going to see me run by and just like smack a ball without stopping.
Just drop kick.
I'm just be carrying one 5-iron with me on the whole run.
Drop kick the golf cart and keep it moving. I'll see you next time. Oh shit!
Just do the Happy Gilmore as I go by.
Rocket a ball.
Ryan, we have a couple voicemails. Would you like to hear them?
Let's hear from the people.
Okay.
We do voicemails, guys, at 612-246-4614. If you want to give us a call, you can leave show suggestions. You can bullshit. You can tell us stories.
You certainly can.
And I think we have some of that fodder today.
Hey, boys. This is Michael Dottie from Alabama.
Hi, Michael.
My fiance is already asleep, so I can't call her and tell her good night. So I'm going to call my other fiance, which is you guys. For Ryan, Spencer, and the dog one, the other host. Good night. I love you.
All-time favorite voicemail because it is for me.
It's Tops. Oh my God, it's Tops. Fuck yes, Michael. I'm pretty sure we need a new T-shirt that just says "Your other fiance"
or the dog and the other dog.
Bro, that made me so fucking happy.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh my
really
God.
strong.
My fiance's already asleep, so I had to call up my other fiance to say goodnight.
That's you guys.
God.
Ryan and Spencer and the dog and the other dog.
Fucking Michael, you don't know how bad I needed that today, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
God, that's awesome. I fucking love you guys so much.
One other pretty solid one. Which one was it? Oh yeah, the one that doesn't have a transcription. Here we go.
What up, Dad Dogs? Matt Levy here. You can share all this if you want.
What up, Matt?
Good, because it's too late.
I'm going to make this quick because I also emailed you guys. I don't want to annoy you too much. I am a music mixer and a music producer in Los Angeles. I mix such shows as The Voice and American Idol.
Sick.
And last year, we were filming Hollywood Week for American Idol, and they put us up in a studio room whose window faced a super creepy hotel. It gave me the heebie-jeebies, so I Googled it, and it was called the Cecil Hotel.
That sounds creepy.
If you don't know anything about the Cecil Hotel, definitely read about it, because holy fucking shit. Mysterious disappearances. We're talking the Night Stalker lived there. We're talking possessions. We're talking they have actual footage of that chick who went missing and was found dead in the water tank. They have footage of her running away from shit and acting weird. And it's supposed to be one of the most haunted places in LA. And you guys definitely have to check it out, because I need to hear someone make fun of this before production puts me up next to this thing again, because it is definitely freaking me out. All right. Have a good one. Bye. All
right, Matt. Thanks for listening, bro. Thanks for calling.
Are you familiar with this at all? It sounded like you maybe weren't, based on your reactions.
No, I mean, like, I've heard of the Cecil Hotel, but I don't know anything about it outside of the Cecil Hotel. Hey guys, we're coming to Los Angeles on October 30th to do a live show.
True story.
Should we save the Cecil Hotel and talk about it? The hauntings of the Cecil Hotel for our no.
Well, here's the thing. It's all like, a big old bummer.
Oh.
It's like, this person died, that person died, this person died, and that person died.
Well.
Let me read the, like, what's the line below the headline in an article?
The lead?
Yes. Is that right? I don't know anything about anything.
The lead is like the intro that tells the crux of the story.
Yeah. That's what I was looking for.
I think that's the one.
This is from allthat'sinteresting.com about the Cecil Hotel. A mother threw her newborn out the window. A man was killed by a falling woman, and a decomposing body was found in a water tank.
Bummer.
Yeah. Yeah.
The rule of no bummers has been broken.
So this is downtown LA. It's like 7th and Main, I think.
I don't remember where. I know it's downtown.
It's currently closed as of, I think, about 2 years ago.
Okay. I didn't know it. Honestly, I didn't know it was open.
It rebranded in mid 2010s.
Oh, okay.
As a like hostel kind of thing.
Dicey.
Yeah. And then closed a couple years later. And then I think in 2017 it was bought by a New York firm that's like gutting and renovating and supposedly reopening it as something.
Got it.
Micro apartments, apparently.
Oh.
Whatever that is. I mean, I can infer, but
my guess would be
small apartments,
sub 1,000 square foot places in Los Angeles that you can rent for less than $2,500 a month.
Yeah, I would guess they're even smaller than that if the word micro starts.
That's true. Probably
my house isn't that much bigger than that.
Less than 1,000. Yeah,
my house is like 1,200.
It's probably like less than 600.
It opened was built in 1924. It was built for $1 million.
$1 million.
Went pretty far.
In 1924. I wonder what that would be in today's money.
Things went south pretty quickly. Lots of people just like have died in this hotel.
Well, you made a bad hotel, bud.
For a variety of reasons. In the first decade of business, the Cecil Hotel was home to at least 6 suicides.
Oh, that's far too many for 1 year.
One person jumped out of a window and landed on top of another person and killed both of them.
Whoa, don't do that.
I don't know if it was intentional, but either way,
don't do that.
Horrific. Yeah.
No, I wasn't implying that it was, but you should still not do that. Don't drag somebody down.
This one is, well, yeah, we'll skip that one.
Okay.
That one's even more horrific than the thing I just said.
Yikes.
At least 2 serial killers have lived there in the midst of their serial killings.
What is this place, man?
Mm-hmm.
Is this just like a fucking open door to the wretched?
Have you ever heard of the Black Dahlia murder?
Yes.
Yep.
The Josh Hartnett movie, The Black Dahlia.
She was a guest at the Cecil Hotel when that happened.
Bro.
Did you hear about the Elisa Lam thing that happened in 2013?
That does not currently register.
A few people have written to us saying that we should do an episode about it, and it's way too big of a bummer and for me. So maybe I didn't pass those along to you ever. A Canadian college student was staying there and was found dead inside a water tank on the roof after she had been missing for 3 weeks. And there's security camera footage of her like running into an elevator, like she's running away from something and talking to herself and like motioning weirdly as if she's trying to like get something off of or away from her.
Ugh.
Yeah. So a lot of people have said it's like she was possessed or haunted, and I don't necessarily think I agree with that, but it's a weird, terrible thing that also happened there.
Also drugs and mental illness.
I mean, that seems more likely. The one weird / suspicious part is it's very unclear how she ended up inside the water tank.
Yeah, that sounds
and also dead.
Suspicious and strange.
Yeah. And it has not ever been resolved how exactly she died and how she ended up in there.
Interesting.
But yeah, not a place I would want to hang out in or near.
Look, Matt, let me give you some words of advice.
Yeah, we didn't do a very good job making fun of it. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, well, Matt, first of all, it doesn't sound like it's very make fun-able.
It's tough. A lot of those things, all of those things we just mentioned fucking suck real hard.
I'm going to give you some advice, Matt. Close your shades.
Quit your job.
No, quit your job. Matt, you sound like you have a pretty fucking cool job. Keep your job. But close your shades and be fucking thankful that they're not making you stay there, bud.
Right. Hey,
we're doing a boy shoot. Listen, we rented you all micro apartments. The micro apartments are gonna keep you there for a couple months. You're gonna get murdered.
The windows don't open.
The windows don't open. Fucking, they better not when they rebuild it.
If you're editing and mixing, you almost have to be indoors. And as long as you're not indoors of that place, you should be fine.
You're fine, Matt. You're fine. Just don't look at it.
I wouldn't walk past it, or if you do, like, look up first.
Yeah.
Or maybe like run when you gotta pass it.
Or do just pee on it quick. You know, like assert your
absolutely
dominance
don't do that.
and then run away.
Ghosts do not appreciate being pissed on.
You right.
Cops also don't appreciate you pissing on buildings in downtown LA.
It's LA though.
I don't say that from experience.
There's a lot of bathroom in LA that just happens everywhere. Did I tell that story? Well, never mind.
The time you saw Wally Zerbiak shit on a U.S. bank?
No. But
Sorry, Wells Fargo?
No, but I saw somebody else on Sunset Boulevard just lean against a car that was definitely not theirs and just use it as a backrest while they shitted into the street.
Nice.
And that was a pretty wild one,
How
too.
do you use it as a backrest and not shit on the car? They doing like a wall sit on it?
It was a wall sit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a wall sit.
They must have been strong. Or it was a quick shit.
I mean, I didn't like...
I suppose you don't take your time when you're shitting on somebody else's car.
Yeah. Also, for what it's worth, I didn't stop to
You didn't be like, take notes?
Oh, what's this guy doing? I'm
going to
take a seat and watch this go down.
I'm going to time this shit.
Wow, impressive, man. Nice job.
It's a world record for shitting on a Camry. I'm going to set the land shit record.
I'm going to send this footage to Guinness, and you're going to get a plaque, my man. Nice job.
All right. Well, maybe we can piss on it in October if you really want to.
Yeah. Speaking of October 30th, we'll be in Los Angeles. We're doing a live show at the Satellite in LA.
Yeah.
And Californians, we'd love to see you. You can get your tickets.
We'd love to see anyone. You don't have to live in California.
That's true. You can come from anywhere, but...
somebody in Pennsylvania bought 2 tickets the other day.
Shut up.
Huh?
Sick. God, you guys are awesome.
Rob, now you have to come so you can carpool with that dude.
Hey-o! Yeah, it's if you go to whatifpodcast.com/LA, that's whatifpodcast.com/LA, you can get your tickets. It's like 2.5 months away now.
Yeah,
sure. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right-ish. With it being 2.5 months away, tickets are already selling and going to keep selling. So we'd love to sell that thing out.
And if you want to PayPal us enough money to go to the Clippers game the next night, it's hi at What If Podcast on PayPal.
True story.
that whole thing.
And yeah, that's a thing we might
gladly take your money and spend it on a basketball game.
Fund Our Fuckery, which is live from that.
What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck indeed.
I should have had her do a Fund Our Fuckery one.
Yeah. It's
too bad I'll never see Lydia again.
JK, we will.
She ain't dead. All right, Ryan. You want to talk about Momo?
Oh, no.
Momo the Missouri Monster?
Momo. Oh, no.
Hey, that beautiful hair.
It's so good alone. Just alone, it's so good. Can I just say, if you're going to do branding for a cryptid, using the Missouri MO plus, I mean, I guess, what's the other piece of it? Missouri
Monster.
Okay.
Mo.
So Momo. I mean, if you're going to brand a cryptid.
Or it could just be like Mo Monster.
Like More Monster? Or his name's Mo?
I meant like more. Mo Monsters, Mo Problems.
What about Momo? Momo. More Missouri Monsters. More
Missouri Problems.
honestly accurate. But no, they did a great job of branding their cryptid out there in Missouri.
Yeah,
Momo's good.
All right. Momo is a Bigfoot-like creature.
He had beautiful hair.
Who was seen in Missouri, specifically around Louisiana, Missouri.
That's two different states.
Well, it's also a place in Missouri. It's like 80 miles north of St. Louis.
Okay.
I've been to Missouri twice.
Yep.
I've
been multiple times.
Once to Columbia when I was in high school.
Sick.
To pick up a dude on last minute notice.
Sick.
Once to open for Harmar Superstar in St. Louis.
Fantastic.
And I saw 2 cars on fire before the show.
That sounds like Missouri.
2 times. St. Louis was a weird town.
I've never been to St. Louis. I've been to Kansas City multiple times, and I've driven through Missouri multiple times on my way to South by Southwest.
We stayed in some hotel downtown that was definitely haunted.
Cool.
Like very haunted.
Like the Cecil Haunted, or not that bad?
It felt like it.
Ugh.
There was a weird stain on the floor.
Nope. Not today,
sure
Satan.
Was.
Not today.
We survived barely. All right. The first sighting of Momo was in July of 1971.
Okay.
When Joan Mills and Mary Ryan were having a picnic off of Highway 79. They were on their way to St. Louis and driving through Louisiana.
Okay.
Missouri.
I was going to say that sounds so confusing.
The town, not the state.
No, got it.
They first noticed a horrific smell before seeing something walk out of the woods near the little picnic area that they were eating at.
That's just disrespectful.
Calling it horrific? That's my wording, not theirs.
But I've seen I saw the like often associated with an awful.
Well, he's like the southern Bigfoot. He's a skunk ape.
Yeah, but
he's stinky.
I mean,
lives in the woods. He's old.
How do you?
He's got long hair. He lives in the woods.
It's probably stinky.
Yeah,
that'll make you stink. That'll make you stink. No, you're right. All right, carry on.
They saw a tall primate-looking creature walking towards them, making weird gurgly noises.
Gross.
That sort of thing. Hi, you guys. I'm a monster.
I stink.
Quote, it had hair all over its body as if it were an ape.
Hey, yeah, beautiful hair.
Yet the face was definitely human, which is just a fucked up sentence. It was more like a hairy human. The arms were partially covered with hair, but the hands and the palms were hairless. That's from Mary Ryan.
Hands and palms were hairless, as
face
was
hairless.
The face.
Everything else covered in long, beautiful hair.
That's pretty weird.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think, like, do gorillas and apes have, they don't have like fur on their hands, do they?
No, I don't think so. Well, maybe the backs, not the palms, though.
And like gorillas don't have fur on their face either.
No more than we do.
Got beards.
Yeah.
Bearded apes.
Wizard beards.
Wizard beards.
Yo.
God. Wizard bearded apes would be
a great band name.
A great band name to begin with. And
Actually,
also,
Wizard Beard Gorilla might be better. Just it's more fun to say.
But Wizard Bearded is a nice. Well, okay.
It's hard to say though.
You're right. I guess my hesitation is around. Do we have anything in nature that emulates this description? But we should keep going.
So they saw this thing and they said, "Fuck that shit, I'm out," and ran to their car.
Smart.
But, they hopped in the car, closed the doors. Unfortunately, Joan, who was driving and whose car it was, left her purse with her keys in it on the table.
You hate to see it. You just hate to see it.
So this thing sees them, obviously, walks towards the picnic table, sees them run away, and it goes over to the car and hops up on the hood of the car.
Uh-oh. How tall is this thing? Did she say how tall it was?
I couldn't find a height quote on it for this specific sighting.
There are other height quotes around Momo's.
Yes. I couldn't find one from Joan and Mary.
Okay.
So this thing hops up on their car. They're stuck inside of it. They lock the doors, but they can't drive. And they can't get to their keys without going outside and directly past this thing.
Absolutely not.
So Joan is smart and lays on the horn and scares this thing at least off of the car. And she keeps saying the horn and it backs up away from the car and then says, "Fuck it, that shit's scary. I don't know what it is. I can't eat it." And walks back over to the picnic table where there's food sitting out. Eats some of the food, picks some more food up and walks back into the woods.
Yeah.
They wait a few minutes to make sure it's gone, grab the keys, drive away.
Do you remember Vine?
Yeah.
You remember that Vine where the cat's walking on the hood of the car and the woman honks the horn?
Oh, yeah.
And then they set it to the tune of "Let's Get It On" with the pitching of the horn, and it's the cat jumping.
I don't remember that one.
I just had a vision of this giant, like 7 foot tall, beautiful haired beast getting like whop, 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 like fucking getting scared the shit off the fucking hood of this car as if it were the creature in that Vine.
I would have just rolled down the window and gave it a
"Get away from here." Get.
Do you know the well, it probably wasn't fine. The YouTube video, the monkey on the car.
Monkey on the car.
Fuck off.
Fuck off.
Yeah, they had a monkey on their car. They should have just told it to fuck off.
Fuck off. Yeah, no, it's pretty good.
I need that little kid saying fuck off also.
Bro, that's pretty good.
How that's taken us 3 years.
I don't know how we haven't gotten the monkey on the car for this episode where that would have been most appropriate ever.
We're only 23 minutes in. You want to start over?
Be right back.
So they actually, once they left and got to St. Louis, like an hour and a half later, went to the Missouri State Highway Patrol and filed a police report.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't think anything came of it because what are you going to do? But they were freaked out and or concerned enough about whatever they saw that they made an official report about it.
And still believed enough in what they thought they had seen 90 minutes and, however many miles later to be like, no, we should probably tell somebody else about that weird shit that
thing's
happened.
going to eat someone else if they don't go do something about it.
That's kind of a trip.
Yeah.
Like that's I don't know. I guess when we talk about these types of things, often people will be questioning their own validity or their own sanity or their own whatever, or being like, I'm not telling that shit to anybody. That shit was too fucking weird to communicate.
Yeah.
So for it to be something where they're like, oh no, as soon as we get to a big town, we got to tell this story far and wide. That's interesting.
So that was July of 1971. A year later, on July 11th, 1972.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yep.
Is that story, is that one of those Blogspot stories, or is this a little more?
A lot of the stuff that I'm pulling for tonight's episode comes from a book called Momo, The Strange Case of the Missouri Monster by Lyle Blackburn.
Sweet.
And he actually has a bibliography / works cited page in his book.
My man.
I know. With close to 100 references.
Let's go, Lyle.
Most of them periodicals, a lot of the local papers, but then eventually several national papers, including the New York Times and Wall Street Journal, covered this.
Bruh.
So
this is
it's mostly based on reporting from the 70s.
Yep.
He did a few interviews with some of these people. He cites a couple other investigators who were there as this stuff was happening in the 70s.
Sure.
So it's a little better than than some of the things we reference here.
Yeah, I was gonna say like we'll throw some allegedlys in, but this is already severely more documented than probably 90% of what we talk about.
Also, shout out to that book. It's really well written.
Sick.
I didn't see any typos, grammatical errors, none of the usual shit you find in.
How low is our bar at this point?
Well, honestly, though, it was refreshing.
No, I know. I just it's sort of sad that we're like, at least I didn't spell it wrong. Like shit,
bro.
No, I know.
That may be a low bar, but it's also a bar that 90% of the shit we talk about does not
meet. Yeah,
and on top of that, he's actually a good, engaging writer.
Sick.
Yeah, it was. I had a great time reading the whole book.
Let's go, Lyle Blackburn.
And then my dog chewed on it, so R.I.P. that book.
Well, you got what you needed out of it. He's like, this book tastes stinky. I'm going to eat it.
That guy on the cover looks delicious.
Oh. He's one of my yard friends.
Let me at him.
He had beautiful hair.
If you guys got sick of the Lydia sounders last week, do I have a treat for you this week with only 2 sounders that I'm going to run into?
We're about to wear out. Got him and beautiful hair.
Got him.
So good.
July 11th, 1972. 8-year-old Terry Harrison and his 5-year-old brother Wally Harrison. Remember when you could name a kid Wally?
And nobody flinched.
Terry and Wally.
Bro, you show up to elementary or middle school with the name Wally today, it's just like, turn your ass back around.
I was waiting outside of the taco spot across the street with my dog about an hour and a half ago.
Sick.
And a little kid came out the door and just made a break for it.
Oh, like busting loose? Yeah. Like, fuck off, Mom? I'm out of here?
Yeah, he was like 4 years old.
Sweet.
He wanted to go to the laundromat next door.
Yeah, I get it.
And his mom opens the door and yells, Carl! And I tried so hard to suppress a laugh and failed. There's a 4-year-old running away and now his name is Carl.
You're like, word, lady, word. Carl, huh? In 2019, that 4-year-old is Carl.
Also, all I could think of was the, is it Happy Gilmore? Where he's making out with whatever her name is in the tent. And he goes, Carl! Oh, good to see you.
Yeah. Yep.
I lost it. I laughed at this little kid running away from his mom.
Yeah, that's real. And she had no idea what she was like. My child is in danger, and you're like, look,
his name's Carl. I think he's grown.
He's gonna be fine.
I think he's an adult. You named him Carl.
I'm pretty sure he's 65, and he's gonna be just fine.
He's just short. Anyway, Terry and Wally were in their backyard, and they heard a growl coming from the woods just beyond their yard.
Mm-hmm.
And then they saw, quote, a huge animal standing upright about 15 feet away from them.
Okay.
It was human-like, but covered in long black hair, including over its face.
He had beautiful hair.
Well, it doesn't say beautiful.
Well, I'm just
saying. But it was
long. Long, black.
Sounds lovely.
Long, black, and covering the face, to me, says a lot more of the ring than anything else.
Like the other Momo creature, who we're not going to talk about because fuck that shit.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
When you suggested this episode, that was what I thought you meant. And I was
Absolutely
like,
not.
I don't want that grody shit in my life. That shit's fucking nasty.
So this one had hair over its face. Its hair had grown in the last year, apparently.
Sure.
And they guessed it was between 6 and 7 feet tall.
Okay.
As are you.
Yep. That's
so
true.
If you grow your hair out and scare some kids, we could start a lasting story.
Look, I used to have long hair, and I don't really scare kids. Kids actually really like me. I was going to try to make her...
Well, not with that attitude.
I mean, I could scare kids.
There we go.
If I,
that's the spirit.
Got him.
Oogity boogity motherfucker. Yeah, if I made some weird gargling sounds.
Oogity boogity motherfucker.
That would have worked.
You would scare them, but I don't think they would think you were a monster.
That's true. They would just be like, Mama, that man
sucks. That tall man cursed at me.
That tall man sucks.
And he stinks.
Yeah, I mean...
it had no neck and a, quote, huge pumpkin-like head.
That's disrespectful. That's just disrespectful.
So far, this would still work for you.
Nah, I don't even have that big of a head.
Yeah, you got no neck though.
Nah.
Okay, let's keep going. It stunk terribly.
I got kind of a long neck, honestly.
It stunk terribly.
I mean,
we're like 5 for 5 here.
I try not to.
Had blood in its fur.
Gross.
5 out of 6.
Gross.
And was carrying a dead animal. All right,
I mean,
5 out of 7.
If I'm eating something with meat in it, I guess you could
Carry it around.
I got a burrito on me. Technically, I'm carrying around a dead animal.
Does your dog know how to play dead? You can just carry it around through the
No,
woods.
my dog has brought me mices though
there you
that
go.
are no longer living.
That's pretty good.
I don't carry them around in my pocket or
Well,
anything.
you could throw them at kids. Scare the shit out of them.
Oh, that would work, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you'd go to jail real quick.
Also, if I got that dead animal scent on
You
me,
would stink.
I would be stinky. Be a real stinky boy.
Yeah, how do they know that he stunk and not the dead animal he was carrying?
Sounds like one of those things is significantly more
Sounds
probable.
like they were prejudiced against tall, hairy guys.
And as a tall, hairy guy in this universe, I'd like to stand up against this injustice.
Got him.
So they ran inside and told their 15-year-old sister, who happened to be home at the time.
How old were they?
They were 8 and 5. Yeah, I know. But, however, hold on.
I'm here.
The 15-year-old sister who was inside also saw the thing through the kitchen window in their back. Saw it in their backyard through their kitchen window.
Okay.
And confirmed what they had described.
All right. Okay.
The following...
I'll allow it.
Thank you. The following night, the whole family, so there were 3 kids, 2 parents, heard noises coming from the same woods behind their house. And the dad of the family, Edgar Harrison, along with 8 other dudes, went out into the woods to see what was going on.
And they burned that motherfucker down.
They did not find anything. But 2 nights after that, on July 14th, Edgar and 12 other people were standing in his backyard after a prayer meeting.
Oh. Dear Jesus. My
Please
yard,
protect us from the big feet.
My yard.
The handsome big feet.
my yard stinks like Satan. Could you please take away the devil smell from my yard, dear Jesus?
I should have gotten Chuck saying handsome big feet for this one too.
Hey, what up, Chuck?
So they were in their backyard after a prayer meeting, and they saw several balls of light moving between and above the trees in this. So, like, as far as I can figure, they had a backyard with no neighbors behind it. There was just like woods after 100 feet or something.
I went to high school in one of those houses.
You went to high school in a house? You were homeschooled?
I lived in a house while I was in high school that had woods behind it. I understand the concept.
Cool.
Carry on.
Glad you're
glad
you're tracking.
I'm swallowing this burp real quick.
Okay.
Yep.
You don't have to keep talking. I got us. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So they saw orbs of light moving around in the woods behind their house.
Sure.
And then from the woods through their neighbor's yard, their next door neighbor's yard. Later that same night, after seeing the orbs, Edgar was now in the backyard by himself. The other 12 people had left.
Got it.
And he heard a loud growl coming from the woods.
Just for what it's worth, if I'm Edgar and I was seeing...
I'm inside by now, first of all.
Balls of light flying through my yard, knowing what my kids have seen. I'm not just out in the backyard fucking smoking a cigar. Like, what happens, happens.
Yeah.
You only YOLO once. My name's Edgar, and I'm seeing it through.
It was the 70s. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if he had a shotgun across his lap, maybe I'd allow
we'll get
it.
there.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
He hears a loud growl come from the woods, and then he hears it repeating and getting closer.
Is there anything that growls in woods in Missouri?
They probably got bears in Missouri, right?
Missouri. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I don't know about that part of Missouri specifically, but they've got some mountains in the Ozarks go through Missouri, right?
You know what? You're right.
I'm sure there's some bears somewhere. I don't know if there are in Louisiana. It's pretty far north. It's like not too far from the Iowa border.
Okay.
But yeah, a bear or a bear, I guess would probably be about it. I'm not a wildlife expert, right?
The only thing I'm not either. The only thing I can think of is like, are there maybe like cougars in the Ozarks or anything like that?
Yeah, maybe.
All right. BRB.
If you
gotta make a googs.
If you want to check.
Yep.
So he hears this growl getting louder / coming closer to him. He goes inside finally, and the rest of his family is coming towards him because they had heard the growl from inside the house. So at that point, they finally decide to get the fuck out of there, and they hop in their car. As they're driving away from the house, they see 40 other people walking down the road towards their house, headed towards the woods because a bunch of other people in the neighborhood had heard the same thing and seen those weird orb lights.
God damn.
And they were going like pitchforks and torches to the woods.
I was literally just going to say, like, pitchforks and torches, like, fucking yikes, bud.
Yeah.
I still don't know if I'm like part of that squad.
I know for sure I am not.
That does not sound like the move to be like,
Hell
fuck it.
no.
Bring
Even
a
if
sharp
there's-
stick. Let's go fuck this thing that we don't know what it is up.
Even if there's nothing in the woods, I don't want to be around those other people.
Well, there's that.
I never want to be in a crowd of people with pitchforks and guns and torches.
Yes to mountain lions in Missouri.
Okay.
Not tons, but
Does that
seems
mean
like
no-
sightings for sure.
Does that mean no bears, or we're unsure about bears?
Just looked at mountain
Got it.
lions and cougars to begin with.
Got it. So these other 40-ish people are moving on foot back towards the Harrison's house.
If I'm Edgar, I'm like, yeah, go get him.
So apparently, I can't find her name right now, but Edgar's wife / the kid's mom rolled down her window and yelled, "There it is."
Okay.
Trolling ass motherfucker.
Got my eyes on that.
So there was this area behind their house called Marzolf, Marzolf Hill. So there was like some woods, and then up that went up a hill to a little clearing.
Sure.
Which seemed to be sort of the focal point of a lot of this activity that people were hearing and or seeing.
Got it.
So they were headed in that direction towards Marzolf Hill. Some of them had guns. Probably because of that fact, 2 police officers, John Whitaker and Jerry Floyd, showed up to investigate / make sure no one shot anyone in the woods.
I mean, this is like some vigilante mob fucking.
Yes.
Like, if you don't know that part of the search party ran up 20 feet and you come around a clearing.
That's the other thing. You're looking for a human, like 6 to 7 foot tall thing.
Yeah.
In the dark, in the woods.
Yeah, you're for sure going to shoot your neighbor in the face.
Yes.
This is a terrible idea, and these people are dumb.
Well,
carry on.
You're a piece of shit.
Those 40 people plus 2 police officers did not find anything that night. But in the following week, the police started getting 10 or more reports per day of people who were seeing some sort of creature in the woods near Marzolf Hill.
10 or more a day?
Yeah.
And where are we in Missouri right now?
This is Louisiana, Missouri.
Which cannot be that populated.
No, I think like single digit thousands.
Although you're probably at a point where you've created enough hype where every bush wiggle and
Every what?
every time like a bush moves, I said bush wiggle.
I thought, never mind. Carry on.
Every time a bush wiggles in your eye line, you're like, oh shit, it's the fucking monster. Go get. Like, everybody's probably fucking tweaking out every time they see a tree sway or a animal anywhere or whatever.
Yeah. When you said tree sway,
house sway.
I imagine sway as like one of the sentient trees from Lord of the Rings with all his branches up in his hat.
Sure. I was going to use bush wiggle as another added to the list, but
I thought you were saying that was like a person. And I was like, what sort of slur did Ryan just say on the show?
Oh, you motherfucking bush wiggle.
I thought you were like,
You're just a dirty bush wiggle.
stop. It sounds horrible. You just kicked off iTunes.
I like it.
I don't.
Let's just assign it to like people
Nope.
from Wisconsin, and then we can go from there.
Let's start with like Edina or something.
dirty bush
Stop. So they were getting 10 or more reports per day of something hanging out on Marzolf Hill.
Okay.
So by the 19th, this started on July 12th. So a week later.
Black bears only, by the way,
Okay.
in Missouri.
Well,
Yeah,
sort of fits.
7 feet tall, though.
Black bears on their back legs. That's tough to say. Could probably be a 6+. They said 6 to 7 feet.
Yeah,
A black bear standing up
right.
has got to be 6 feet tall.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Those are some long boys.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
A week later, on the 19th, the police actually organized a search with 8 police officers and 12 others, including some people from the DNR and a couple of reporters, did a search of the Marzolf Hill area for about 3 hours and didn't come up with anything. No sightings, no tracks, no weird sounds, no weird smells. Couldn't find anything. However, some citizens of Louisiana, Missouri were pissed because they searched from like 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And they believed that this thing, whatever it was nocturnal because it had only been seen and heard and smelled at night so far.
Oh, I see.
So they thought the police may have goofed on their search.
Well, he's in his hole.
In his cave, perhaps.
If you come back at 1 a.m.
There are thousands of caves in Missouri.
See, that's crazy.
Exactly.
What lives in those caves?
Handsome big feet, perhaps.
Momos with beautiful hair.
Certainly at least one.
Word.
The next night, on the 20th, Richard Crow, who was reporting for Fate magazine, which if anyone has a lead on getting old copies of Fate magazine, send us an email, please, at hi@whatifpodcast.com.
Is this like a retro paranormal cryptid-ass magazine?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, they covered some wild shit in some wild ways back in the day.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool name.
Mm-hmm. So he camped out on the hill on the night of the 20th, so 8 days after this initial report from the Harrisons.
Oh, so they went right there. They were like, hey, some shit's going down. We're about...
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, cool.
And I don't know if they were aware of the report the previous summer from 1971 of the thing jumping on the women's car.
Yep.
Or if they just hopped on this one quickly. But yeah, he was there on the 20th, camped overnight on the hill. He smelled something weird a couple times and saw another like public campsite that looked like it had been disturbed and like some trash cans were overturned and stuff, but didn't see or hear anything out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Animals rifle through trash all the time.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, I can't do much with that.
No. Short version is he didn't find anything.
Got it.
2 weeks later, on August 3rd, Bill Suddarth, 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 found some tracks in his backyard, in his garden. There were 4 large 3-toed tracks, and his friend Clyde made a cast of one of them. If you Google Momo, it's one of the first things that will come up.
Momo tracks.
It's it looks like a heel imprint, and then 3, I'm assuming, toe imprints out in front.
It's a sloth.
And it looks like it's probably, I don't know, maybe 12 to 15 inches.
Okay.
So like a very large person foot or slightly outside of the range of large people feet.
Okay.
All of this started to add up, and it was covered locally in a bunch of like the local papers multiple times. Also got picked up by the Chicago Tribune, New York Times, and Wall Street Journal.
Damn.
So in the summer of 72, briefly became a national story.
That's crazy.
Yeah. At the same time that all this
Momo, you crazy. You crazy out here, Momo.
Get away from here. Get.
At the same time all this was going on, there was a huge uptick in UFO sightings in and around Louisiana, Missouri.
Interesting.
On July 26th, multiple witnesses saw a fireball land on top of a large tree. Quote, 2 red spurts of light shot out from it before it zoomed out of sight.
Whoa.
There were more reports each of the following 3 nights of hovering colored lights about the size of an apple that were, quote, signaling back and forth to each other. I don't exactly know what that means, if it's like flashing on and off or changing colors or how the signaling is to be interpreted. But
yeah, I was going to say that seems generous to say that something is signaling back and forth to something else.
That's obviously an interpretation.
But yeah, but okay.
I'd be curious to know what they actually observed.
Right.
Lois Shade, who is Edgar Harrison's sister, Edgar Harrison being the dude who first saw the thing in his backyard and organized the search party.
Yep.
She saw a disc-shaped object hovering over the top of a bluff near her home.
Huh.
It was orange at first, then changed colors to red and gray. And it had what she thought were lighted windows around like the outside rim of it.
Oh, interesting.
She said it hovered for several hours.
Wow.
Before glowing red and then shooting straight up into the sky.
Sick.
I don't know how you see a UFO for several hours and don't take photos of it.
But this was the 70s though, right?
Yeah, but they had cameras in the 70s.
Yeah, but...
You or one of your neighbors can't round up a camera in 3 hours, 4 hours.
You know, I thought this was going to leave, but hey, Paul.
By hour 3, you don't go find your camera?
Paul, can you bring your... I just need one snap of it.
July 14th in Canton, Illinois, which is just on the other side of the Mississippi from Louisiana, Missouri.
Okay.
So Louisiana is on the Missouri, like the Mississippi is the border of Missouri and Illinois at that part.
Yep. Got you.
So Louisiana is on the Missouri side of the river. Canton is just on the Illinois side. So they're
got it.
Whatever. A couple miles apart.
They're the Minneapolis and St. Paul of
exactly
small towns in Missouri and Illinois.
Yes. There were multiple reports of UFOs in Canton, Illinois on the 14th. On July 21st, 2 balls of fire landed in a cow pasture in Bowling Green, Missouri, which is 12 miles south of Louisiana.
Well, I'd rather not.
See fireballs land in your cow pasture?
It seems a little dicey to me.
I would not be a fan. Multiple witnesses reported a nauseating odor.
What?
And a series of grunting and screaming noises in the area of the fireballs.
Fuck off.
Can you fucking imagine? Not only do you see 2 fireballs land in your yard, essentially. You go outside, it stinks like hell. And then you hear screaming coming from the area.
And grunt sounds. I mean, what do we got?
Get away from here. Get away from here.
Fuck yeah.
Get.
What do we got? Like fucking interstellar, interdimensional Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck?
Dang, that's just science.
Fucking landing on the planet and hiding in the woods and trying to fuck with people.
I really don't know.
Stinking up the dimension. Motherfucker.
What if that's his whole mission?
Just to stink shit up.
Uh-huh. This dimension smells too good. Where I come from.
Fuck your scent. Fuck your scent.
Just gonna send it.
Yeah. Gonna send my scent.
Boop. Here. Take this. Hold this scent for me.
I mean, like, but really though, like,
grossed myself out.
Yeah. But really though, like, if that fucking happens anywhere near you, what the fuck are you expecting? Like what the fuck is that?
You know when like a cat will come and rub itself on your ankle, and it kind of seems like they're being cute, but you know it's like putting its scent on you.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Momo was doing. He came from another dimension to be like, this one's mine now. I claimed it.
I guess.
I rubbed my stinky self on it. Gotta hop back in my spaceship.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's a wild, I mean, this is like a very wild combination of things.
Yeah.
Any of these things isolated or independent is interesting. All wrapped up in one thing is fucking weird as balls.
The majority of the sightings died down by the end of 72.
Okay.
So it was mostly concentrated, or it was the most concentrated over the summer of 1972, both in terms of Momo sightings and UFO sightings. And then
so it was just like a 2-year period of weirdness.
I mean, it was mostly like 3 months.
Oh,
because the first thing was in July of 71, but then there wasn't anything for like a year.
Yep.
Then we had this big flap of both Momo and UFO sightings.
Right.
July, August of 72.
Right.
And then it kind of faded out.
Yeah.
Which in some ways, you know, probably lends credibility to the
hysteria version of things.
But at this point, maybe we can run through some of the possibilities.
Fuck yeah.
We've kind of hit a lot of them, but let's start with a bear.
Yes.
There are bears in the area.
Yes.
black bears specifically, which would seem to match some of the descriptions.
Yep. I mean,
bears do occasionally stand on and or walk on their hind legs.
They do. We've talked about this on the show.
It is something they are capable of. If you have not seen it before, it looks really weird.
It does. And it's like sad because they're not supposed to, and it's generally got something to do with...
Really?
Well, yeah.
I didn't know that. Why? What? They're not supposed to? What do you mean?
It usually means that they've had damage done to their front paws, usually from human interaction, which prevents
How would
them...
a human damage a bear's paws?
Bear traps, largely. Otherwise, barbed wire or fencing or things like that, where they try to get through things and damage their front paws to the degree that they feel like they can't walk on four legs, and then they end up walking on their hind legs to prevent themselves from putting pressure on their fronts. Not always. I mean, obviously, like they're able to pop up on their hind legs to go
Try
like
and reach
grab
something
something high. But if they're walking around like that, it's usually because there's been damage under their front paws, and the primary reason for that is generally human interaction.
So, I'm sure somebody who reported a Momo sighting saw a bear.
Sure.
I don't think it can explain all of it, though. Especially the incident with from 1971 with the car. If you have a bear on the hood of your car, you're gonna identify it as a bear,
Not
no
as
matter
a
how
pumpkin-headed, long, beautiful-haired, 7 foot tall
with a human face.
Yeah, that's not.
You don't
something
mistake
else.
a bear for that at a distance of
No.
I mean, if something's on the hood of your car when you're in it, you're 2 feet away from it,
Right.
tops.
Right.
You could identify a bear.
Yeah, that doesn't feel right.
Even if you had never seen one up close before, you're gonna know that's a bear.
Yeah, and
you're
also
not gonna go file a police report about it.
That's what I was just about to say was like, and you're not gonna wait for an hour and a half and still not go like, whoa, that was really intense. That, it kind of looked like a bear. Maybe it was like, you're not gonna figure that out. You're gonna be like, that was so fucked up and so strange that we have to tell the police about it. I mean,
so
yeah.
With the, with like the two kids in the yard, yeah, okay,
Right.
maybe. You hear a growl and you see a bear on its hind legs and you're 5 and 8.
Right.
Sure. That could be a bear.
Yep.
It also obviously doesn't explain the UFO stuff.
No.
It's also, I don't think, safe to assume that these two things are related in any way. These probably are totally separate things, whatever the explanation for both of them is.
I mean, yeah.
Right. I mean, that's the most likely explanation, at least.
Sure.
Or situation.
Sure.
Next most prosaic explanation is that this was hoaxed somehow. Again, I think it's possible that some of this stuff could have been.
Yeah.
And in the case specifically of the footprints or the tracks that that we have casts of, I can't remember her name. Gail Sudarth, the 8-year-old girl, daughter of Bill Sudarth, whatever, later admitted to making those tracks.
Oh.
And once it caught on, being too scared to say anything about it.
Oh. Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So there for sure is some element of people like getting caught up in this story.
Interesting.
Especially in a relatively small town. I'm sure everyone was aware of it. You've got a national news story coming out of a town of, I think it was like 5,000 people or so in the 70s.
Yeah.
You got kids who, at school, I'm sure all this stuff is going around.
Right.
But some elements of the hoax really don't make any sense. Like, why would you do it, first of all?
Yeah.
When the second night you have a bunch of people with guns coming out into the woods, you're not going to rethink this.
Yeah, shit's getting a little real.
You're going to go out the next like 9 nights in a row and do it again.
Right.
At risking getting shot what?
Right.
And then a lot of
this didn't even turn into anything.
No, none of it did.
Yeah.
It just kind of went away. No one made any money off of it.
Right.
No one got famous off of it.
Right.
The town probably had a little tourism boost for a while, but
it's not like it's, we've talked about a lot of these stories where there are towns that make a whole fucking thing out of a single incident, you know, like,
and there is some element of that here. Like they played it up.
Sure.
Some of the local stores and restaurants and stuff, like, you know,
yeah,
they had a Momo burger and like, shit like that. But
like a cheeseburger in your small town is like, you know, that's different than being like, we've got a yearly Momo festival and we sell Momo figurines, and
right.
you know, and it doesn't seem like it's taken that level of.
Who knows if that's what they were going for and it just didn't work. Also,
yeah, that's fair. I know there's probably some you know, logistical and ethical constraints around what I'm about to say right now.
Uh-oh.
But I feel like it would be fascinating.
Not gonna call anyone any names, are you?
No, I'm not. Okay. I'm not. No more.
Don't just keep. I should have brought it up.
All right. You can rewind if you want to hear it. I feel like it would be interesting for, and maybe this exists and I just haven't looked hard enough or found it, but I think it would be interesting for someone to do a scientific study or set of research around the ability for hoaxes to catch and how far they spread based on certain criteria.
I bet someone has done a study
like
that.
Like, do they, like, how far does something carry if it's hearsay, verbal? How far does something carry if there's physical evidence? How much does it carry if there's video evidence? How much does it carry if there's photographic evidence, but not video? You know, like,
there would be so many variables, though.
I know.
It'd be hard to get any sort of specificity. But
I know, but I feel like someone could do, I'm trying to spread a crazy rumor, spread a crazy story, and I want to see how far I can do it. I mean, like,
I just mean it'd be hard to do it in any like scientific kind of way, because
not in any
you
truly
could never
scientific
control
way
for any one variable. But
true. But I think it would be fascinating to know what, if there would be a way to quantify the ability for the human community to latch onto something and then bolster something that it's like, we just lied about this to start with, and it took on this life of its own and became a completely like separate thing.
Well, there have been some studies, and I don't know how formal or scientific they've been, but linking people's what's the word I'm looking for? People's ability to or likelihood to believe in conspiracy theories tied to other beliefs.
Oh, sure.
Or other just like personality and traits.
Yeah.
Just maybe sort of getting at that. I know a conspiracy theory and like something like Momo, mass hysteria, rumor mongering stuff is not exactly the same, but maybe is like happening in the same part of the brain at least.
Yeah, I see where you're heading with that, and that's true. Like there are people who have tried to tie like how conspiratorial are you as a person to, you know, what other things do you think or believe or do, or where you from?
TV channels do you watch?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I'm sure some of these reports or some elements of these reports were the result of hoaxes or I think we could probably put in that same category, like people wanting to be in on it.
Right.
Like
right.
Playing along or what, you know.
Right.
Everyone in my town is saying they saw this thing. Yeah, I also saw this thing, but it looked like this, or I saw it over here.
You see the leprechaun say, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, some of these people, specifically Doris Harrison, who was the 15-year-old older sister of the two kids who originally saw this thing, who saw the thing out of her back window.
Right.
She's still around. She did an interview with some travel channel show, like Destination Unknown or something like that, within the last couple of years, and said like, yeah, that's what I saw, and I still don't know what it was. And
it was weird. And
no, I didn't make it up. Like, my whole family saw this thing.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
Also, I'm kind of sick of talking. Like, she wasn't trying to get anything out of it. She's never written a book or anything like that.
Yeah, she's not touring her story.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing that happened to her when she was 15 that now at 50, whatever, she still can't explain. I don't know.
And that, you know, I know we say this sometimes, or we say this semi-regularly, but that to me is always one of those things that lends so much credence to these stories, is people who are of relatively an adult age when they had something happen. They maintain their story for going on 40 years to a degree that they're willing to acknowledge that, like, yes, it happened and yes, I still believe it, but not to the degree of this happened and I still believe it because I make $120,000 a year by selling books and doing speaking agreements and panels and all the fucking bullshit that comes with a lot of the shit that we talk about.
And in some ways, she has a strong incentive to like not talk about it.
Right. The antithesis is often true that, like, if you own this shit and you fucking say this shit, you look a little goofy.
The Bigfoot lady.
Right.
Yeah.
You're the oh yeah, that's that girl in Missouri that fucking saw a big pumpkin head with furry hair. Cool, right. cool. Yeah, enjoy getting a job because people are going to believe that you're a real person.
I don't have a quote, but I think Lyle Blackburn interviewed her as part of his research for the book too. I think it was from there, but she said, paraphrasing, something along the lines of like, yeah, it was right around my birthday and it was actually really annoying because every July people would bring it up again.
Wow.
And as a kid, I hated it because it was my birthday, but people wanted to talk about the pumpkin-headed thing I saw in the backyard.
Yeah. Dan, that's such a real, I love that. That's such a real human, like, anecdotal.
And, like, age-specific interaction with that, too.
Totally,
you know?
totally.
Okay, the two really out there ones, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Aliens.
I mean, if you're falling out of the sky like a fireball, stinking up my field.
Grunting and screaming.
Grunting and screaming and trying to eat my picnic. It sounds...
So what you're saying is Linda was right?
Molten how?
Yeah, when she told us about the UFOs dropping off the Bigfoots.
How dare you?
And cutting our cats in half. He was carrying a dead animal.
How dare you?
It might have been a cat. Might have been in two halves.
She said it was lasers, though, and these guys don't seem like they're lasers.
Fireballs, bro.
It's not a laser.
Well,
it's different.
Okay, stay with me for 1 second.
Oh, Jesus. If you got to ask me to stay
I know,
with you,
I know.
All right.
It would sort of make sense if you were going to another planet.
Okay.
And we're specifically interested in the biology of that planet.
Okay.
And we're capable of biologically engineering things to create something that might be able to exist on that planet.
Let me say back to you what I think you just said to see if what you said is what I think you said.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're saying...
Quick comprehension check.
Yep, quick comprehension check. You're saying that aliens would go, what lives there? I don't know, humans, monkeys, apes, gorillas.
They seem like they're in charge.
They seem like they're the smartest beings in this whole thing. We got to take a form of a thing that's going to be relatively like okay around that thing. So we're going to show up as that thing?
Not quite. I'm saying the aliens may have designed something like that as like a as like a drone, as like a research vehicle.
Like they'll never guess that we're not normal if we're
not saying that thing is an alien, but it may be of alien creation.
Okay.
That's all the time we need to spend on that theory. Just want to put it out there.
It is one of those that goes. You and I talked about this, I think, off air not that long ago, but about the whole idea of like, if something were smart enough to send a thing here to be a thing that needed to investigate us, they would probably be smart enough to identify what that thing could or should be or look like in order to not create the level of
no, you're right.
What the fuck that this thing is.
That is the obvious counter to that idea. Yes.
But I'll allow it as an option here.
Last one.
Interdimensional Bigfoot.
I mean, if we're talking about likelihoods.
So in some ways or with some caveats, this one makes the most sense to me.
Sick. I like that you just exasperated yourself by having to be like, I'm about to defend this, aren't I?
There are a lot of caveats, but under a very specific set of unlikely circumstances, this one would make perfect sense. If there are other dimensions, and some people smarter than I think that there might be.
Sure. Like Chuck.
Well, yes, for one.
He's got us beat.
But also like actual physicists.
He's a doctor.
Of holistic massage, which is slightly different than physics, but
let that man live.
Either way, he is smarter than me. I'll give you that.
Preach.
There would be a lot of / an unlimited amount of weird stuff that existed in those other dimensions.
Yes.
Perhaps an infinite amount of weird shit.
Yes.
And it would mean that there's also some like very slightly weird stuff in those dimensions.
Yes.
Like something that looks kind of like a bear and kind of like a gorilla.
Right.
With a sort of humanish face.
Yeah. And this kind of goes to the point of like when Chuck was talking about dimensions that are a stack of books, where like the one next to the one that you're in
there's
is
only
the one
a couple
that's
things different,
closest
or one thing
to
different.
the one that you're in. So it would look or feel similar-ish, but it would be weird enough to be like, the fuck.
It obviously creates a bunch of issues on a like physics level. But
yeah, I mean,
it also solves some of the issues of the paranormal in terms of why don't we ever have hard evidence of this stuff?
Yeah.
Well, it's not really here. We're seeing something that exists on a different plane, and we're just getting a glimpse of it for a second.
Yep.
We're just hearing a weird growl. We can't even see the thing. Or we're seeing a thing, and then it just blinks out or disappears.
Yep.
Or we're smelling a smell, even.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe it would explain why we can't ever get like good photo or video of these things, because they're not physically here in the way that you and I are physically here.
Right.
We have other similar stories, for whatever that's worth, of like the Skinwalker Ranch stuff, of literally a Bigfoot walking out of a portal on Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
I take all things Skinwalker Ranch with several grains of salt, but like similar stories are out there.
Yep.
And it would kind of, or could potentially be like an all-encompassing theory of the paranormal. Because there would be dimensions where we have tech that is different from ours, where there are little creatures that look sort of like us, but with big heads and big eyes, and they're 3.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
There might be other dimensions that are exactly like ours, and there are humans that look exactly like us, and that's what we call ghosts.
Yeah.
It could be like sort of an explanation for all of that shit.
Yep.
But it's also not an explanation at all, because we don't know what the fuck it is. And if you're looking at it from an actual physics level, on like a many worlds hypothesis level, part of that hypothesis is prohibits them from interacting with each other.
Right. They're also, not that this is the main problem with this theory, but
there are several, but there are multiple issues.
Multiple issues, bro. We gotta. One of the main things that I always wonder about as it relates to this theory is if something out there is close enough from a universe perspective to, it's rubbing up against us so closely and so intensely that it can bleed in these interesting ways. Mm-hmm. How or why don't we have as plentiful stories about us rubbing up against and going into other dimensions where we see...
Well, what would be the difference? In that moment where you see a creature not of this earth, are you in its dimension or is it in yours? And what would be the difference?
I guess my take would be it's in ours because we are seeing what we're seeing as a backdrop, with that entity being separate from what we understand our current abilities as a place to be.
Follow-up question, in that moment, okay, so if that is what's happening,
yes,
in that moment, does that thing know it's in our dimension?
Yeah, I guess that's a fair question.
Or is it a two-way mirror situation?
That's a fair question. Like, is it...
We're observing it, but it does not know it's being observed.
That's a fair question. I guess interactivity is always the interesting part of that. Like, if you're on top of my car eating my food off my picnic table, my guess would be that you are...
Yeah, it doesn't explain that one very well.
You are well accommodated with the situation that you are inside of. Not that doesn't explain many, if not, and we're getting bigger than the story
Also,
we're talking about right now. But
real quick, if we take it a step farther, perhaps there are portals that allow full crossover into another dimension.
yes.
Would we know if another person fully crossed over into another dimension?
I mean, not necessarily. I guess.
Would that person even know until much later, if ever?
I guess
Because if we're going on like every single individual choice that every single person makes, and there are literally like changes everything, and there are literally infinite numbers of dimensions or realities or universes or whatever.
Yeah.
The one right next to us would be exactly the same except for one thing, right? It would be indistinguishable for all intents and purposes from our own.
Yeah. I guess my take or my thought would be if the beings in or around the adjacent dimension are different enough for us to see them as adjacent but different, and that they have crossed over into our physical space, my thought would be that we would have stories of people who are our beings who have crossed over into their physical space, which would be as different but similar as their beings are different but similar. Does that make sense?
I was with you for like 90% of that, and then I started thinking about one other thing for 1 second.
Yeah,
and I tried to check back in,
fair.
and I was gone.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is like if the backdrop is ours, but the being is different, I would presume we would have a lot of stories where we are the being that is perceived to be normal in our minds, but the backdrop is different.
If we came back.
If we crossed over in the same ways that they're crossing over into our space.
See, what I'm saying is this also explains the missing 411 shit. They don't come back.
They're going over.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
or they do come back, and it's the kid who's like, "No, I was with that bear for a week."
Yeah.
Because in their world, bears are lovely, caring creatures. That's the only difference.
It's Grandma Bear.
Mm-hmm.
It's Robot Grandma.
You ever watch Fringe? Yeah, this universe is the same, except my grandma's a robot.
Yeah.
Do you ever see Fringe?
Nope.
It's about like 2 different dimensions.
Oh.
Everything's the same except they got blimps in one.
Word.
Blimps, that one, the one that caught on fire.
The Hindenburg?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we didn't make blimps anymore after that one because
Yep.
we all got scared.
Yep.
That didn't happen. Blimps won out in that dimension.
Word. So that's how they do everything.
Yeah.
So you just got to look up and you'd be like, is there a blimp around here? All right, I know where I am.
That's how they would do like whenever they had to change back and forth between dimensions.
Oh, that was really how they did it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. That makes sense.
They'd be like in Manhattan, but you could see a blimp in the background.
And you're like, all right, bet I know where I am.
Like there would be planes in the sky all the time here.
And now you just, in this situation, we need to be able to look at the top of a car and be like, is there beautiful hair on a big beast up there?
Monkey on the car.
Monkey.
I'm in dimension 23C.
Fuck off with your beautiful hair. Fuck off.
All right, dude. I think we solved it.
All right.
We did it.
We've got it. We've done it. We've done it again. We've done it again.
Whatifpodcast.com/LA. I'm going to be real sad if it's just the two of us talking to Poitras.
It doesn't sound like it's about to be, so...
I know we've sold a few tickets. I'd like to sell several hundred more.
Yeah, let's do it. Y'all go to whatifpodcast.com/LA. Go snag your tickets for October 30th at the Satellite Theater in Los Angeles. If you don't know, now you know you're only getting half as much What If as you could be getting if you're just listening to this show. We do trash. Big trash. If you're getting half, we do double the episodes. We do 2 episodes every single week. If you go to patreon.com/whatifpodcast for just $5 a month, you get 4 additional episodes. That's a second episode every single week, right into your podcast player that way. If you want to leave us an email, if you want to leave us a voicemail, it's 612-246-4614. Send us an email at hi@whatifpodcast.com. Yeah, you can be just like Matt or Matthew or any of our friends that hit us up that way. We're about to hit 400 reviews on iTunes.
We hit 1 million downloads last week.
We hit 1 million downloads because you guys are fucking awesome and we love you. We appreciate it forever.
Since I got it out the jar. Life is a beach that'll suck me in the car, punch me in the heart, then love me even more. Who gonna ride with me? I'm finna go. I'm finna go. I'm finna